Okay, hello, welcome to the final player ratings video for 2020. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. Good to have you around. What I like to do with the player ratings, I like to start the conversation. I give the players a rating out of 10 as if they were sitting next to me and I was talking about them and their role and how they performed it and relative to that and their standing in the team. And you guys finish the conversation in the comments below. If there's any adjustments that need to be made, all good, go for it. We can have that discussion. And then I've got a spreadsheet, which I will do another video to go through the final player ratings for the season. We can go round by round and we'll see who we all think is going to win the best and fairest, or the blue abroad best and fairest anyway. So let's begin with the back line. Mitch McGovern, Liam Jones, Lockie Plowman. It's fascinating. I usually see Mitch McGovern's name later in this video, but he was obviously named in the back pocket. He was on Rainer to start the first contest. He got that spoil in, which was good to see. He had one kick in the first quarter, and it was an absolute shank of a kick. Came off the side of his boot. He was sort of playing that loose man in defence. It was a dangerous tackle in the second quarter against him, which I thought was a really bad call. I liked it from him. I liked the intent. I thought it was actually a really bad call. So that happened. There was a little bit of there was some desperation from him when the Big O dropped that mark. He sort of dived on the ball to get the handball out. He took a nice mark with 3 minutes 50 to go. I think it might have been in the second quarter as well. And that's kind of it. That's kind of it for him. And yeah, I don't know. It's the same. It's literally the same feeling, emotion, week after week. This is the third week in a row where I'm kind of looking for something. I'm looking for a positive in his game, and I think if he's going to be playing this loose man in defence role, he's going to be able to take some real ownership and accountability. And it's just a big unknown with him for me, and it's a serious concern. It's a serious concern. I gave him a 2. I didn't see any impact on the contest at all. Maybe I'm being harsh, maybe because he's in a new role and all of that. But I mean, now I'm looking at the fact that we've invested X amount into bringing this forward in. He can't figure it out as a forward. Now we've got to put him back. This is not like Liam Jones. Liam Jones was not a big, investment for the club, like a marquee signing. Liam Jones was we got him to give him, we'll give it a chance, see if it works. But we didn't. If it didn't work out with Liam Jones, it probably didn't cost the club so much. Whereas with Mitch, I don't know what to do. I'm worried about his performances, straight up. So I'll leave it at that. I gave it a 2. I thought it was very poor. Jonesy, I thought he was outstanding last night. His first 3 contests were strong as always. His intensity was there. He had some inspirational type marks, some intercept marks, which you could just tell he was playing with a purpose last night. Another intercept mark, third quarter, 3 minutes 20 to go. And I, we talk about guys playing for Simo last night and showing what it takes to play at this level and playing with pride. And Jonesy played with pride last night. And he plays with pride most weeks. He can sometimes get himself in trouble and make mistakes, but the one thing about him is he's got enough pride to make sure that next passage of play is not a mistake. So I gave him an 8 for his game. I was really happy with him, proud of him, impressed with him, and full credit to the way he's finished off the season. Plowman, very much the same. I thought he was outstanding last night. Had the job on Charlie Cameron. Cameron did get that cheeky goal, which was not on Plowman, and you could just tell he was it was stiff. It was that free kick against Mitch McGovern for that dangerous tackle, which led to the Charlie Cameron goal. But I didn't think Charlie Cameron had any influence. He's been hamming up this knee injury or whatever it is for a while now. I don't think he's injured. I think he's hamming it up a little bit. And I'll just give Plowman credit, for the way he's ended the season. Good on him. He took some intercept marks. One thing I probably want to see a little bit more from him moving forward is just a little bit more attacking flair. But at the end of the day, I can only imagine when you're on Charlie Cameron how risky it is to actually show some of that attacking flair. So I gave him an 8 as well. If we're talking about his particular role in the day and how it was performed, I thought it was outstanding. Half back line, Samo, Wieders and Simo, Sam Petrevski-Seton. I think this is the third week in a row now. We can safely say, okay, Samo's now playing with a little bit of energy, just some spark. And there were some things that he didn't do well. He was out positioned from the McCarthy lead in that first, which was a bit tough because it was a beautiful kick. But the tackling was there. He pinned that kid Coleman in the first, 5 minutes 20 to go. Beautiful intercept mark in the second, 7 minutes 40 to go. I thought he did his job just. He wasn't outstanding, but it's been a relief knowing where Samo's been this year and how he's finished. It's a bit of a relief to see, okay, well, the last few games I've seen a little bit of something. He's got some energy and some confidence back, it seems, and it's a big off-season for him. So I hope he can take some confidence going into the pre-season and just get better at this role, because it's obviously something they want to pursue with. I personally think he should just go back to where he plays his best footy in the midfield, but such is life when you're a fan. You don't know what is going on behind closed doors, and the club know better than me, and the club know better than the fans, I hope. So I gave him a 6 for his game. Weeders, he was okay. He was okay. I thought, that turnover kick in the second was very unlike him, and he didn't seem to just wrestle back the confidence after that, I felt. Yeah, I didn't, usually he makes a mistake and you say, oh, okay, well, that's uncharacteristic, and then he fixes it. When it came to spoiling and one-on-ones and marking contests, he did his job. But when it came to using the ball, he just didn't use it very well. I think he went at 33% from his 10 possessions. So I gave him just a bare pass mark, mostly because of how good he was in the air with the contest and the spoiling, and he didn't let his man get off him and all of that. So just a 5 for Wiedering. I think that might be his lowest score for the year. Simo copped a shocking knock to the face in the first quarter, which didn't look good, but as Simo always does, he just keeps going on. And after the second quarter and how pathetic we were, and halftime and the spray, and you look at it and everyone's questioning our club, or I was questioning our club, it had to be Cade Simpson to kick that goal in the third to spark something, and I'm so happy he got that moment. I don't think he's kicked a goal this year, but I'm so happy he got that moment and how it all just fell into his lap, and the positioning was there, and I guess there are footy gods after all. So he caps off an amazing career, a highly respected man. You can just tell by the way he's... the way that other people carry themselves around him, you can just tell that kind of respect he's earned. And I wish him nothing but the best. And it was just good to see him play one more time. And I definitely did not take it for granted. So I gave him, in his final game, I gave him an 8. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he played with the courage and the pride that was needed. And I thought even the way that he left the field was very noble. Didn't want to be carried off because he didn't feel like it was deserved and necessary after a loss. And I hope those principles are passed down to the generation after him, and not the principles of last week against Adelaide. And thank you, Simo. Thank you very much. He'll never watch this, but thank you. Centerline, Willow, Cripps, Nunes. I was a big fan of Tom Williamson on the wing. It's something that we spoke about years ago, really, 2017, before he got injured and was sort of was knocked down with injury. But I'm a big fan of this. I thought it looked good in the first half. Well, all game, really. I did. I liked him pushing up the ground. Now, is this going to be a case of full-time wing? Is this going to be a case, and you put Walshy back on the ball? Is this going to be a case of split his minutes between halfback, flank and wing? I don't know. But I think we found something there to move forward with. I thought his first half was solid. That inside 50 to Harry Mackay, 3 minutes 45 to go. Another great run and kick inside 50 to Nunes, 2 minutes 50 to go in the first. Great aggression. He did very well to earn his free kick in the third with 6 minutes to go. Kicked a goal. Yeah, I think this was one of the more underrated wins of the night. Seeing Willow on the wing and seeing how it worked, because he's got that want and desire to run, carry, change angles, kick long. He's got a beautiful kick on him as well. So something to look at there for sure for Willow. I gave him a 7. I thought he still had some of those moments, but listen, we've got to take a step back. This is a guy that missed 2 years of football, and we all spoke about Willow. He's going to make it, but there wasn't that certainty. Now we can certainly say in 2020 he's going to make it. We're going to pursue with him. He's got a full season under his belt. That'll do wonders for his confidence. Now his career really begins. He's going to do a massive pre-season coming up for him, and then next year it looks like he can go up another level. So that's very exciting for us. Very exciting. Cripps, I found this one hard. I just gave him a pass. Just a pass mark. It was hard because he went off at 3/4 time with the shoulder. It was clearly bothering him. I questioned why he played. I know hindsight's a wonderful thing. I understand. Captain, courageous, can't knock him down. Doc didn't play, so the other captain, wants to be there. Simo's last game. I understand all of that, but in the end, that ended up hurting us more than what it helped us, if I'm honest. And if I'm honest as well, Cripps out of the midfield just gave us so much unpredictability and a little bit more spark. And I'm not saying get rid of him or trade him. I'm just saying that's what it looked like, because sometimes with the great Sydney teams with Buddy, and when he missed games, it was like, well, where are they going to go now? It kind of felt like that as well, because Cripps is such a vacuum of attention just by the nature of how he plays. I thought it's just something to look forward to if you can get this forward craft going. I think there is now definitely plenty of faith to be had in the rest of those midfielders to get a job done. Maybe not for a full game, but yeah, I'm wrestling with giving him an NA or just giving him a pass. I don't know. I didn't think he was very good before the injury anyway, and I just get him into the off season. Don't risk him. Get him healthy, because 2021 he's got to be back to his best. So we'll leave it there for Cripper, but he obviously did battle on, and full respect to him for doing that. Real warrior for the club, and got nothing but love for Cripper. But I just hope he gets right. Jack Nunes, inside 50 in the first quarter to Murphy for his shot on goal. 11:30 to go. He ran hard to be available for Williamson and marked and goaled in the first quarter with 2 minutes 30 to go, and I think that's 13 goals for the year. I could be wrong. I think it's 12 or 13 goals for the year, which is a phenomenal return. He ends up with 6 and a goal in the first. Turnover kick in that second. So he and Weeders had the 2 really bad turnover kicks, which resulted in Brisbane goals. Unfortunately, Nunes' kick led to the Robertson goal. But one thing about him, he's the way he tackles and the way he has the intent is a big tick for me. I gave him a 6. I thought it was above a pass mark. Just Gibbo, good inside 50 to TDK for the Levi goal in that first. Silly free kick in the third. Gave away a blocking call for... gave away a free kick for blocking. 7 minutes 25 to go. And then he kicks a good goal in the fourth with 13 to go. I didn't think he was as good as Nunes. I thought it was just a level below. But I'm not rating him on that. But I think even for him, it was just a pass mark. Maybe a 6. All right, fine. I'll give him a 6. Yeah, I thought he was okay. I thought he definitely did his job. Kicks a goal, which always helps with these ratings, especially for these mids, these mid forwards. So we'll leave it at that. Levi, it just looked like the season needed to come to an end for him, and I question why he played. And I get it as well, because Simo and all of that. So it's hard, but his last 4-5 weeks have been, I think, barring one game, I think he's just looked a little tired, just flat, lethargic. Then it's sort of coming to fruition in his games. He's making lazy decisions with his kicking and all of that. He started pretty well. The crumbing goal in the first was something that you probably don't get from Levi too much. 9 minutes 44 to goal. That was 9 minutes 44 to go in the first. I thought that was it was good moment. But then after that, I think the big key moment was, getting outmarked by Lachie Neale, 20 seconds to go in the first. That just can't happen ever. And that sort of tells me he probably wasn't trying hard enough. Because there's no way Lachie Neale is stronger than Levi. They talk about him and what he can do with the strength component of his training and how he lifts so heavy and all of that. He's a power athlete. And I thought that was a symbolic moment for how his game was. He just looked cooked, played cooked, and sort of lumbered around a little bit. But I love Levi, love him. He's a good man. He's a good Carlton man. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good game. I gave him a 3, but it wasn't good. Murph kicked a goal in the first. I think it was 11:30 to go. Needed it. He had 5 and a goal at quarter time. He finishes with 11. It was nowhere near good enough from Murphy. Nowhere near good enough. It was probably his worst game of the year. We'll give him some credit in the sense that he laid 6 tackles, which has been something that he's been criticised for this year a lot. He's got a body and whatnot, which maybe doesn't allow him to tackle the way he used to because of the shoulder operations. But end of the day, he got a rocket at half time. He got pointed at half time, and he had to show something, and so he did that. Having said that, I thought it was a loss on the day for him. I gave him a 4. I acknowledged the fact that he kicked a goal. I acknowledged the fact that he had 6 tackles, which is a very important thing for him. But that's just what should be there, if we're being dead honest. He should be hovering around the 3 to 4 tackles a game mark anyway. So I gave him a 4 for his game, and he needs to be better. And I hope we don't get to a situation where we're carrying him through the rest of his career. Because if it's time to go, it's time to go. I'm not saying it is this year. I think he has to go on next year. But I think we need to be very prudent with these older guys who are playing now. Like, it's time to start thinking about success and not sentiment. So gave him a 4, love him to death, but we'll see how that goes. Full forward line: Eddie Betts, Harry Mackay, Tom De Koning. Eddie Betts, he had a handball in the first, a good play where he kicked it to Kennedy in the third, 14 minutes to go. A turnover kick to Archie in the third, 12 minutes, 13 to go. A good little kick on his left foot to Gibbons, inside 50, 13-10 to go in the fourth. And I just thought I didn't think it was a good game from Eddie at all. I thought it was poor. I know we've re-signed him for a year. I'm already worried about that based on what I saw last night. It's tough. It's tough to see him play like that. I gave him a 2. It was nowhere near good enough on the performance. So I don't know. I guess we'll get into more discussions about Eddie and decisions as the off season comes to us a bit more and we get stuck into the thick of it. But I thought it was very poor from Eddie last night. Harry Mackay, great lead up mark and a long kick inboard to Ed. 10 minutes to go in the first. Strong mark in the first, 3 minutes 45 to go, and he kicks a goal. Another good mark and a goal in the fourth, 8 minutes 30, and another strong mark and a goal in the fourth, 5 minutes to go. You could say it was junk time, but I mean, they were strong plays. They were very strong plays, and he finishes the season on a really good note. He kicks 3 goals last night. I gave him a 7, by the way. Kicks 3 goals last night. Kicks 4 the week before. I think he finishes the season. Well, he came into the game having kicked 18 goals, so he's on 21 for the year. It's good. It's a good fortnight to finish the season and hopefully move into next year, because then we enter year 5 and he starts getting into that 22, 23 age bracket. So plenty to work on with his kicking, but at the end of the day, if he's kicking goals, that's all that matters. So kick 3 goals straight, can't complain with that. 7 for Harry. We move on. Tom de Koning. I thought this was probably the game where he let his colours were lowered. I thought didn't have as much impact, or he had as little impact in the game in this one than any of the others. And I'm not sure if it was soreness. I'm not sure if it was. I think the fact that Levi and Pitternet were in the side probably hurt him a little bit, but I don't. It's hard because is he ready to play out a full game in the ruck? Oh, I just wish we could inject 18 months into him without actually having to live through the 18 months, you know. He's in a very sweet spot in his career where he's ready, but he's probably just ready. But that's what a big preseason will do for him. One thing about him, his follow-up work from ruck contests is fantastic. It's Cruiser-like, to be honest. It's very, very Cruiser-like, and it's a great trait to have. He just shows sparks here and there. I gave his game a 4. Actually, no, I didn't. I gave him a 5. I gave him a pass mark because of the way he carried himself with the intensity and the pressure, particularly after half time when they needed a response. I thought he provided that, so I'll give him a pass mark. But it was, as you can see, it was kind of, it was close. Followers, Pitternet, Curnow, Walsh. Pitternet, I thought he was pretty good in the ruck. I thought his competitiveness was on display. I thought once he got the ball, though, it was not good. Really, I guess he played like a ruckman. The old school classic ruckman where you don't want them touching the ball because good things don't generally happen. But he, at 29 hit outs, he did a pretty good job in there. Follow-up work was there. Yeah, I just have a question mark about him and Tom playing in the side, as well as Harry, Levi, and Mitch McGovern. So I don't know. I guess that's another point for another day. But I gave Pitto I wrestled with giving him a 6 or a 7. I started it as a 6. I'll pencil in a 6. If you guys want to make a change and confirm a 7 or whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments. I'll fix that up before I show you guys the final table. Ed Curnow, he tagged Lachie Neale, and that job didn't get done very well because Lachie Neale had 30 odd. He kicked a pretty good goal in the 4th, 9 minutes 20 to go. He battled, but end of the day, what was his sort of given role in the day? It was to tag Neale. We had 19 and a goal, Ed, which was pretty good. Lachie Neale had 29, 2 behinds. Lachie Neale's a very hard player to stop, so there's no, he hasn't lost any love there, Ed. But it's hard because I feel like I'm going to give him a pass mark, but at the same time, did he win his job? Did he win on the day? I don't know if he did. Offensively, he definitely did, 19 and a goal, but his role was there to stop Neale. So I'll give him a pass mark as an overall performance based on the fact that, he didn't get his job done on Neale, he didn't stop Neale, but he did do some pretty good things for us last night. So, I'll give him a pass mark. Sam Walsh, fantastic to see him finish the season the way he did. And it was interesting because during the week, he obviously got up in front of the group in that meeting and said, we're going to give it our all for you this week. And that was giving it your all. Not, I reckon we might give it our all. It was no, we're going to give it our all for you. And he did. 31 possessions. He was outrun. There was a moment there which I think he'll be so filthy on himself, but it's a great moment. Lachie Neale outran him for that mark inside 50 for the Brisbane Lions. 9 minutes and 10 to go in a second. It just had that little bit more power than Walsh in his legs to get there. I thought it was a good moment. Obviously, Neale doesn't kick a goal, so I'm a little bit more happy about it. But it was good for Walshy to have something like that, and he now elevates himself onto another level. Now Walsh, entering year 3, sky's the limit for him. He can go up another level as well. I think his leadership. His goal kicking showed some signs this year. So, it was great. Look, I've got plenty of notes. A great run inside 50 in a second for the inside 50 to Harry. 7:20 to go. I gave him a 9 on the day. I thought he was our best player on the night. And stoked with where he's at. I really am. Interchange bench, Paulson, Kennedy, Martin, Cunningham. Paulson, just I'm not even going to lay in. I'm not going to lay into him personally, but if we're serious, he can't. I don't see how he gets another contract. If we're fair dinkum here, looking at winning, I don't know. And then good luck to him. All the best. Thank you for the great service, all of that. But I wouldn't say great service. But anyway, he took a defensive mark, a good one in the first. And this is the thing with Cam Paulson. It's exactly this play. 11 minutes to go in the first. A really good defensive mark, but he turns the kick over. You know, he rushes a kick in the first 8 minutes 5 to go from defensive 50. Rushes the kick, turnover to Calamachi at 55 metres out. He got turned inside out by Lincoln McCarthy 15 minutes to go in the second, I believe that was. And I've got a note here. How does he get a game? How does he play? How does he play last night? Is it come on Cam, you've got one more chance? Like how? It's just disappointing to see how many times the penny never dropped with him. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to produce whatever we were reading about him producing in the scratch matches. We never really saw it in the ones. It's just the story of Cam Paulson. How he got that extension originally is beyond me, and now hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it was the wrong call because I don't see us moving forward with him. I wrote down 0, but I'll give him a 1 because 0 is, maybe, I don't know. It's there. It's somewhere there. It's a 0 or a 1. It was very bad. It wasn't a good game. But we move on. Kennedy, this is an interesting one. He played the second least minutes on the ground for Carlton with Cripps, who obviously missed with injury. Cripps played 51%. Kennedy played 68%. He had 23 disposals last night. I don't know if that was a management thing. I don't know if that was a punishment thing. I read Matthew Lappin's tweet about guys looking for possessions more than tackles. Was Kennedy who he was talking about? I don't know. I thought he was pretty good. I thought it was really good at stoppages to get that handball out in congestion, those contested possessions. He had 8 in the first quarter. I thought he worked hard to provide an option. He kicked it, his kick inside 50, I think it might have been in the second or the third, kicked it out in the full, which was disappointing. Where he's limited is when we get off on spread and he's required to run hard and powerful and with power, and he doesn't have that, and that's where he's limited. You know, his contest work is pretty good, but I can understand now why, him, Curnow, Cripps, Setterfield, I don't know if you can have all 4 playing at once. I think it's too slow. So, having said that, given the game time he played and the way he played, I gave him an 8 for his game. I thought he individually was really good. And that's just how I saw his game. I was really impressed. Jack Martin, I thought his pressure was all there. He probably didn't get rewarded with possessions and stats, but I thought his pressure was there. 3 amazing pressure acts in that first quarter on the wing, 12 minutes 30 to go, which set up a goal later on, which might have been Murphy, I think, but it was fantastic from Jack. He had a statless quarter 1, but those pressure acts were phenomenal. Great aggression on the tackle on McLuggage in the third quarter, 8 minutes to go. And he just seemed to lift, particularly with his intent, particularly after half time and all of that. I thought he was even showing that aggression before that. So yeah, it was good to see. Like I said, didn't get rewarded with the possessions, but he ends up with 11 and 6 tackles. I gave him a 6 for his game. I liked what I saw. And then Dave Cunningham. I thought his first quarter, he was sort of neither here or there. He was a lot better in the second half. He actually had 9 tackles for the game. He led the team. He had 9 tackles with 14 minutes to go in the fourth. So he probably had 8.5 at 3/4 time, I should say. Look, I gave him a 6 for his game. I thought he found a way to impact in this one, and it came through tackling, and he had the 14 touches, and that's what we need. That's got to be the standard for him. That has to be the standard for him. He can fall into the category of a nice footballer, but we need him to be a bit better than that. So I gave him a 6 for his game, and that'll do it, guys. That'll do it. The round 18 play ratings are in the bank at the moment, and we're going to tally the votes at the end of the year and see who is crowned the Blue Abroad Best and Fairest. I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. Those of you who tune in every single week, write comments, talk to me. If you send me your votes, I love it. Those who write it down in the comments below, that's also cool. Even those who disagree, because it helps me think about things in a different way. And it helps me learn, and it helps all of us learn and engage. It's been a really cool feature of the channel. So with that, have a great Sunday. The silly season is officially upon us, trade talk and all of that, but we'll get to all of that over the next few weeks. Have a good one, stay safe, and go the Mighty Blues.